serve our clients through the EXP experience. We're going to jump right into it since we're getting a little behind here. I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves. Aaron, how about you going first?
Sure. Aaron Taylor, the real estate guy here in Las Vegas, Nevada, helping people in real estate for 27 years. A very productive brand and team here. Excited to be with EXP, about 3 years now with EXP. Changed my life like many, many others probably. And I love the culture of the company, and we have the same culture in our group. So I'm very excited, looking forward to answering questions and helping everybody in the audience today.
Terrific, terrific. Jennifer, how about you? You want to share something about you and your world?
Absolutely. I got started in real estate about years ago, located in central Iowa, Des Moines, and yeah, just excited to answer any questions and share what I've been learning over the past few years and see if I can learn something a little myself too.
Terrific. Jessica, how about you sharing a little bit about your life?
Sure. So I'm here in Nashville. I was a school teacher and got into real estate about 5 years ago, joined EXP 4 years ago, married my husband 3 years ago. He became an agent and we iconed last year, and I think our next deal is iconing for this year. So, and our year isn't up until May. So it's pretty exciting.
Awesome. That's great. And Sean, I'm not seeing that Sean's here. Is he here yet? No? Okay. We're going to go right ahead and get right into.
He said EXP World crashed, so he looks like he's trying to get back on.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to get right into it. And am I missing anybody? Because did I speak to everybody? Okay. All righty. We're going to get into our questions so the audience has some knowledge to consume. The first one that we're going to ask is, what community type event has helped make you top of mind when people think real estate? Or what community event do you feel serves your community well? Aaron, I'll let you answer first.
Okay, so I realized early on in my career that to have a successful real estate business, you need people. You have to acquire people, right? So we always try to put ourselves in front of, I think people have their speaker on, guys. If you're not talking, you got to click your mic off. So we always try to put ourselves in front of large groups of people so we can acquire people to add them to our database. So we kind of create our own community events. We have a great culture within our team that we give back consistently. So just to give you a few ideas, we fed the hospital last month. There was about 1,000 employees at UMC. So we have the taco guy out there. We fed all the staff, thanking them for their service, collecting names, phone numbers, email addresses, asking everybody that we talk to within that function if they were ever going to buy or sell a house, or if they knew anybody that was, is there an agent they would use? That's very important to find out who they're loyal to or who they're not. And we don't mind the no's. The no's are great. It's just as good as the yeses. We just need to know who we're working with. And so we feed the homeless at Las Vegas Rescue Mission, Shade Tree. We did events for COVID. So anything that we could put on together to help the community, be in front of large groups of people, that's how we do it on our end.
I love it. It's so great that you give back so tremendously to your community, and that's why you're such an amazing agent. Okay, Jessica, how about you?
We host monthly parties at our house. We just call them Friends Day Wednesday, and they're themed. So the first Wednesday of every month, we have a party at our house, and we invite everybody. So we invite, neighbors, friends, clients. Everybody is invited. They're allowed to bring friends, their pets, their kids. We do, in the summer, we have a home with a pool. So we do food trucks and just a swimming party, and the kids love it. And then, October, we'll do Oktoberfest. So we ask everybody to bring their favorite craft beer, and then we do pretzels and all different types of dips. Thanksgiving's Friendsgiving, Christmas is Christmas. Our January one is right after New Year's every year, so we do pajamas and s'mores, and our friends really love that. So, and we constantly see people like, I'm gonna make it to your party. I've never made it, but thanks for the invite. Locally.
That's awesome. I think that the servers probably really enjoy that and are really shocked when you do that for them. Thanks for giving back so much. Jennifer, what about you?
Yeah, I think when choosing where you're going to serve in your community, you kind of want to look at the place you have the most influence or what's relevant to you. So I have 3 kids all in the public school system here, and so I tend to choose things that are focused around the schools, whether it's sponsoring a fun run or helping organize a clothing drive around the holidays. There's so many things that you can put your name behind. So just choosing something you're passionate about. And I think your authenticity, like your authentic passion for that, comes out, right? And people are attracted to that. So I think whatever it is, choosing where your influence can be the most significant based on your natural interests is probably the most important. So we've done everything like that we've hosted movie events for our clients at the end of the year during the holidays. We've done the restaurant reviews and things like that. I do a lot of corporate relocation. So for those small to medium sized businesses that we do relocation for, it's important to showcase our city. And so we've done a little bit similar to Jessica, where we have a pamphlet that highlights all the local businesses and things like that, but it changes a little bit every year. There's a lot of good stuff to get involved in.
I love the pamphlet idea. I think that the local businesses probably really enjoy that very much. Hi, Sean. I see that you were able to arrive. Awesome. Sean, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then share what type of community events help you stay top of mind for people with real estate.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. So my name's Sean. I'm from Calgary, Canada, Alberta. 2.5 years in the business, 44 deals my first year solo, 103 deals my second year. Currently have a team of about 20 agents. Hoping to do over 200 deals with them this year, but we'll see where we end up. And everything we do is organic reach through social media. So that's kind of my little tagline. For community events, to stay top of mind, we've done a few, like a lot of stuff is mostly with working with homeless, where we'll help piggyback on something that's already going on, where they're giving like haircuts and clothes and stuff. We'll go pick up the clothes. We bring a tent with a little sign with our team on it. But that's about it for community events at the moment.
Okay, that's awesome. Thanks for getting here and being a part of our group today. All right, let's go on to our second question. And since you are already speaking, I'll go ahead and start with you, Sean. What lead generation platforms, and you may not use any according to what you just shared, have you been successful with generating seller leads? We all know that we can get buyer leads with many platforms, but a lot of people are curious how seller leads are successful.
For sure. Actually, I love this question because we should all be focusing on sellers in our current market, right? So everything we do is through social media. So the goal is with every post that you're doing and everything that you're putting out is who is it targeted to? And if you were, and what I tell everybody to think about is if you were consuming the content, would it give you a call to action? So like one of the things I'm seeing a lot lately with realtors is more like TikTok posts and like funny posts, which is good for engagement, but there's no call to action. There's no value for people. So when you guys are making your post, think of if I owned a house and I was thinking of selling in the next 30 to 90 days, what information would be good for me? So when you're doing stuff, you could give seller strategies, staging tips, what's going on in the market for sellers, what to expect for sellers, and just things like that. Or another big thing that people are worried about now is selling their home is the easy part, but people are worried about buying a home. So if you continuously speak to those kind of things and address the needs and wants of sellers, those are the people that are going to show up in your DMs and want to work with you.
Sounds great. Bringing people value. That's really the key. I find that is what people will choose to continue talking to us is when we provide them value. Jessica, how about you?
Okay, so I struggled with this a lot at first. I had tons of buyers and very few sellers. And part of that, I think, is because I'm an investor myself. So a lot of my clients ended up keeping their homes as rentals, which is now really paying off because they're just buying more. But I think a key thing I was taught is that your buyers are going to be your sellers. So if you're new, don't get discouraged if you have mostly buyers, because of what I'm seeing now that I've been in it for 4 or 5 years is I'm getting tons of my people that bought houses from me are now selling houses. And we currently have like 7 listings right now, which is the most that we've ever had. So again, I'm big on social media as well. And I need to get better with my content because a lot of my social media is just personal. So people just connect with me on a personal level. And we're trying to focus more on getting more listings and growing our team and having buyers agents. But I think the key piece is that your buyers are going to be your sellers.
Oh, that's absolutely true. I totally agree with that. I've seen a lot of people take off after they just, were buyer's agents for some time, and then all of a sudden, those people wanted to start selling their houses. Awesome take on that one. Okay, go ahead, Jennifer, and share your input on that one. Did we lose Jennifer? Possibly. Aaron, are you able to share that?
Sure, I'm still here. So, a lot of my methods, because I've been doing this so damn long, right? 27 years, are very old school, one-on-one communicating with people methods to where we just ask everybody that we come in contact with if they have an agent. And I was very fortunate. The first 5 years of my career, I started off in new home sales. So I sold a lot of communities and helped all these folks with their homes. So I had a huge database of people that needed to sell their house right away. So we're really big on our client parties, on communicating with our database, on doing all the, movie nights and just being there for them and giving them items of value, whether it's about real estate or not. It could be about something completely different, like forming a living trust or, a great insurance company. So a lot of old school methods. So that's what I love about being in these icon meetings, because I get to hear my successful colleagues, and I'm writing notes. Like you guys in the audience, if you're not writing notes when you're listening to Jennifer and Sean and Jessica talk, I mean, you're crazy, because I get good nuggets every time I'm in here and speak, because my what I need help with is the social media, the Instagram, all the current technologies that I hire people for, that it doesn't flow as smooth as, the way I used to do it with index cards 30 years ago. But yeah, that's it.
Oh my gosh, I do remember the index cards. All righty. Okay, so let's go on to, I'm going to stick with you and keep going back and forth. So Aaron, if you could only drive 2 points home in an interview, what would you say or do to make the client want to work with you?
Well, number one is communication. If there's ever an issue or a complaint with a client, we're extremely good at communicating. We have transaction coordinators in every part of the transaction. I have a marketing director. Once the home is listed, the first thing when we list the house, we almost hand it off like a third-party call. I call the client, or whoever my listing agent is, we call the client with that transaction coordinator. We edify the transaction coordinator, then we edify the client, introducing them, letting them know that they're both qualified and doing what they do. All my girls have been with me 10 years or longer. Then I walk away from the transaction and turn it over that way. So that's huge in the start of our communication. Then my marketing director will call the seller every single week. These days the homes don't stay on the market very long, but if they do stay on the market longer than a week, the seller's like, "What's going on? Why don't I have 10 offers?" Right? So she communicates with them every single week in that process as well. And I went on a tangent. What was the other thing? Oh, the communicating part. Yeah, so I think communication is key on what we do.
Well, that's awesome. I love the fact that you get everybody, to meet with the buyer or seller right out of the gate, so they are not like, who's this person calling me, or who's this person sending me an email. I think that's really key for people to feel like you're not leaving them alone.
Also, Grace, one more thing too, because we're really primarily a listing team. None of my transaction coordinators, this is huge for you guys out there. If you have assistants, I like to call all my girls personal assistants, not really transaction coordinators, because we do everything to help the culture and the team, right? But nobody gets paid unless we get a 5-star review. We just started implementing that. I learned that from another agent that does a lot more volume than me, and I'll tell you what, it's working great. It even helps with the communication, because everybody along the process knows that if we don't get a 5-star review, nobody gets that bonus on the transaction. So we implemented that, and that's working fantastic.
That's really, really important. I love that, because it does matter that people feel that they were taken care of throughout the process, and sometimes they don't want to give that 5-star if they do not feel that they were taken care of. So that's super great nugget right there, Aaron. Okay, I'm gonna Sean, tell me what lead. If you could drive 2 points home in an interview, what would you say or do to make that client want to work with you?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm actually more so about the pre-work than the interview itself. So what I find is, the way that business was taught up until now, like prior to social media really taking off, is you're going to a listing presentation relatively cold, if that makes sense. Like even if you have some like auto chats and all those kind of things to warm a client up, they still don't really know, like, or trust you. So you got to sit there, flip through your presentation, through your stats, through what your team does and everything. Where when you do it the organic way through social media, and I can get into this if anybody wants, but when you build your audience through social media and they actually, like, they truly just send you a DM like, hey, Sean, I want to sell a house. When you show, like, I've had people where I walk in and they're like shrieking with excitement, like, finally you get to sell our house. I can't wait to work with you. So, I don't really go on listing presentations anymore. I just go for beers and tell people what their house is worth and list it. So did you want me to kind of break into how that works, or does that kind of segue sideways from what you asked?
I mean, yeah, I think people would be interested in hearing that. So yeah, share a couple of minutes on that. Sure.
Okay, for sure. I just want to make sure I'm not speaking out of place. So basically what you guys have to understand is social media is the best tool that we possibly have to have the most conversations with future buyers and sellers, and whoever has the most conversations wins. But it's not okay anymore, because there's so many realtors. There's not okay anymore to be top of mind. You have to be top of preference. So you have to build your profile to make you top of preference. And the number one thing you guys have to understand is the difference between engagement and value posts. So an engagement post would be one of these 5 things: food, fitness, inspiration, motivation, memes, or pets. Those are things that are going to get high engagement, which keeps you high in the algorithm, so people see your content. And then when you post a value-based real estate post, understand that people won't interact with that as much, which means the platform won't engage as highly, and it'll drop you in the algorithm. Less people will see your next post, but the people that you want to see will see it. And if you're speaking, not showing off of things, not just open, sold, for sale, those kind of stuff, but if you give proper advice, proper tips, proper strategies, stay away. Like the TikTok ones are good for engagement, but they don't dive deep enough. But yeah, when you start talking about those kind of things on your feed, then the people are going to interact with you. Actually, I have 2 team leads on my team, and one of them actually just shared with it today. I'll write it in the chat there for you, Anthony. One of the guys just showed me today. He's like, look, just got an internet listing, right? Or sorry, Instagram listing. And we walked back through his feed, and it was a girl, and she interacted with his food and fitness posts since October is when they started following each other. So since October, and I can get into the strategy of how to get followers and communities too, but she interacted with the food and fitness posts probably 20, 25 times. They had little conversations here and back about those things. And then she just sent him a DM today. Hey, I want to sell my house in Woodbine. It's a community. She said, hey, I want to sell my house in Woodbine, gave a description of the house and said, can you let me know roughly what this is worth? And then set me up on a search she literally said, set me up on a search based on my criteria. So when this sells, I know what I could buy. That cost $0. It cost 10, 20 minutes of time. for that one customer, and he's not going to be going up against any other agents. He's just going to walk in there, say what the house is worth, sell it, and get a buy. Does that kind of make sense for everybody? And let me know if you guys want me to dive into that any deeper.
I love this top of preference rather than top of mind. I think that's a good takeaway from this meeting today. All right, I think we still have Jessica, so I'm going to let Jessica share with if somebody's got to turn off their mic.
Oh, that's me. Sorry.
If you could only drive 2 points home in an interview, what would you say or do to have the client want to work with you?
I think the first point is just listen to your client. So I'm constantly taking notes. Apple Notes is like a hot mess in my phone, but constantly taking notes of what people say so that whenever you do go to the listing interview, you can compliment or agree with things that they've said, even if they're negative. So, if you get somebody and they hate the power lines in the back of their yard, you bring that up. I'm just constantly taking notes and then reminding myself of things that I can use to connect with the seller and letting them know that I listen. And then the other thing is we do pre-listing checklist, but we kind of go over it with them, and I made it myself. So we combined things from a stager and then also from an inspector. So I have all of these things that I can I feel like that adds value to the meeting, because now when I leave, my sellers have something in their hand that they can actually, get started on the list. And it's not all in a pretty packet. I have separate. So I'm like, oh yeah, and here's my tip from, my inspector and my stager. And I think that adds, a little bit of value to our meeting. I know it's kind of generic, but I feel like it works.
Hey, stick with what works, right? Yeah, people, and again, there's that word value. As long as we drive home value, our clients benefit from it, and and we stay in business too, right? All right, so let's move on to what do you do to stay top of mind for your database? I know Sean has that answer, but I'm going to go ahead and ask you, Jessica, to start with that one.
Okay, well, we do, again, social media, and I don't mean to just throw that out there, because everybody says social media, but a lot of us don't know what to do with that, or what that means exactly, or how to boost ourselves on social media. So one thing we do is we hire girl, it's $20 an hour, 1 hour a day, and she goes on to our Facebook and wishes everybody a happy birthday. And that might sound silly, but what that does is if you wish somebody a happy birthday, there's a better chance that they're going to start seeing your post. If they say, thank you so much, or, I miss you, then now they've interacted with you and they are going to see your future post. So that's one thing that's really helped us, I feel like, even though I don't know exactly how to track how much that engagement really does help us, but that's just something simple that we do with our social media. We also have an assistant that she got her degree in marketing, social media marketing. So she's been sharing our posts and creating these cute flyers and things like that. She's doing 12 days of homes on our vacation rental side right now and featuring 12 of our homes there. But she also kind of does those things with our listings. And then anytime that we sell a home, we tell a story. So it's not just oh, congrats to Mr. and Mrs. Brown, they just bought this house. It's, the family that lived in this house lived here. And, we always just try to tell a story. And if we can't think of a story about that house, then we'll say, oh, this was our 100th sale, or this is, Tyler and I have now sold 100 homes, or this neighbor, you can talk about the neighborhood, but we just always try to tell a story. Or connect it to a local restaurant or something on social media. And then we also do pop-bys a couple times a year. So last year, with it being COVID and I was 8 months pregnant, we did a virtual New Year's party, but we bought 300 kits, New Year party kits with little hats and things like that. And we dropped it on people's porches. And we just said, join us on our New Year's party since we can't really be together. And it was so cute. And a lot of people didn't come to our party, but they did post pictures of their kids at their home, or their families with the hats and all of that. And it was super fun. So, and we didn't just do clients, we did, pretty much all of our sphere that we could get to. We spent 4 days, traveling around to different areas and dropping those by. So that was fun. And it was exercise for me, which I needed at the time. So, and then of course we do our monthly parties.
I love the idea of the happy birthday. I think that's a really, again, another terrific nugget. And yes, we do pop-bys too, and people really, really enjoy that, because it's not like they have to stay at something, or they have to, they feel obligated. It's just a quick hello in and out. So that's absolutely one of our go-tos. I know that Jennifer is back. So Jennifer, please share with us what you do to stay top of mind with the database.
Yeah, sorry about that. Had a little EXP world crash. I have a marketing assistant actually who does a fantastic job at this and kind of shares the same passion for connect with my past clients that I do. And so we do a lot of, we have everybody in my database on a rotation for everything from house anniversary cards to anniversaries, birthdays. If they have a baby, keep track of them on social media so we know what's going on in their lives and what's important, and touching them that way. So they get a regular every 3 months, everybody gets touched somehow, whether it's through, snail mail or a gift card or numerous things. She's so creative, comes up with all sorts of stuff. And then at special times of the year, whether it's the holidays or otherwise, I'll do social media promotions or contests, and that's been great too. Kind of helps. But yeah, I get feedback from my past clients or sphere on a regular basis about how much they enjoy, something they got in the mail, or an email with a gift card that they got, etc.
That's terrific. Okay, Sean, go ahead and share something different, how you stay top of mind.
Yeah, for sure. This is all I do, to be honest. So mine's a little bit different than what everybody else said on stage. Not meaning it in any type of way, but I'm not a fan at all of hiring people to help with social media. But that's the only prospecting that I do at this time. That's why. So I feel like you should be spending at least 2 to 3 hours a day cultivating your social media. And if it's not you doing it, you're not going to be able to have organic conversations with people, and you're not going to get people that are like you. So the reason why like my transactions are so easy and so simple is because I've grown my audience to be exactly like me, that people that vibe with the same things that I vibe with. So I'll break it down for you really quick what we do, but we call it a social media blitz. And, it takes about an hour to do a full rotation. And what we do is you make a post, and this would be, let's say, a value-based post. So like a good one, like we're looking to always attract more investors. So we talk about the BRRRR, right? I don't know if anybody knows the BRRRR method, but if not, Google it. So we'll do a post about the BRRRR, and then we'll do hashtags in our city. So my airport tag, for example, is like YYC. So I'll do like YYC now, YYC living, YYC business, and then I'll go into communities where I know people could flip. So one of the communities, for example, is Acadia. So I'll go into Acadia, and then I'll go into coffee shops in Acadia and dog parks and schools and things where locals would be posting about. So those are the hashtags that I use. And then I'll do 15-minute intervals. I'll do 15 minutes on the hashtags that I used. So I'll click the hashtag, and that'll be other people that are using that same hashtag. And I'll go and I'll like and I'll comment on all of their posts so that I get their attention. Because if somebody random is commenting on your post, you're always going to go see like, who is this person, right? So especially if you leave a thoughtful comment. So they'll come onto my profile, and if I've got good entertainment and good value on there, they'll follow me, I'll follow them back, we'll have a conversation, and then I'll sell them a house. So I'll spend 15 minutes on the hashtags, and then I'll spend 15 minutes on the location itself. And then I'll spend 15 minutes on stories. And what I like to do is I like to scroll all the way to the back of my stories, not mine personally, but the ones on my feed, because those are the people that have fallen off my algorithm, if that makes sense. So the first people you see when you log into Instagram are your closest people, and the people furthest to the back are the ones that have fallen off. So I need to get those ones back up to the front. And so I'll always leave thoughtful or engaging comments on their stories, or try to start like, hey, how's it going? Where you been? What you up to? I'll go into people's feeds, see what they've been up to and comment on those kind of things. And then I'll spend 15 minutes going through people's posts all the way down. So again, leaving thoughtful comments and stuff like that on people's posts. And then that'll usually generate me enough conversations to go for another hour to 2 hours where I'm just in DMs conversating back and forth with people. I'm keeping my algorithm high, I'm keeping my value base high, and I'm letting people know that they need to reach out to me when they're thinking real estate. And that's how I do my prospecting, if that makes sense.
Terrific. I love it. I love the organic conversations. There's nothing like it to have rapport with people. That matters so much in today's world. To make somebody important, it really does brighten their day. So, Aaron, I'd love for you to just share on that, and then we'll move on to the next one. What do you do to stay top of mind with your database?
So I believe, there's several different methods, and what's great about these icon conversations is everybody has different ways of doing things and all successful. I think what we all have in common is we're very consistent in what we do, regardless of the method, we're very consistent. Sometimes even doing things wrong, if you're consistent with it, you'll still get some results, right? But you got to be consistent in everything, that you do. So we're very key on, first of all, everybody in our database really knowing who they are. Trying to separate them, knowing who's going to refer us, who used us, who are the new buyers, new sellers, our vendors. Every single one of our vendors that we use in any type of advertising, whether it's radio, TV, our sign guy, our video guy, everybody that we stroke a check to refers this business. So we're very on top of mind with that. We make sure that everybody supports the same cause with our culture and refers business back and forth. We do things on. We have a system that we have all our database in that we do videos weekly on. But I think it's true to stay true to yourself and be who you are. I'm a very silly guy. If you Google me and look me up, I'm a really silly guy. I'm not afraid to make fun of myself. Everything has to be fun or I'm not going to do it. And as you're a new agent and you're starting off in this business, regardless of the method that you use, be true to yourself. Be yourself. People will see the genuine you and want to be a part of you and want to use you, and you'll start attracting those people at the same time. And then don't be afraid to grow. Take your notes. Learn. If you're not good on social media, listen to the icons that are great on social media. If you're not good with scripts, learn from the agents that are great with scripts, and take a little bit from everybody and make it your own. And don't be afraid to be uncomfortable too. We have a saying in our office that uncomfortable becomes comfortable with practice and action. You constantly got to push yourself and make yourself grow, because what I've learned as I got older is I'm always the dumbest person in the room. And when I was in my 20s and 30s, I thought I wasn't. Now that I'm 58, I realize that I'm not the brightest guy. I'm learning every single day, and especially from you icons. You guys are all brilliant. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. It's so important to continue to grow and learn and be pliable in this business, because it is an ever evolving business. Some things stay the same, but a lot of things don't. But I really do appreciate that, and your personality definitely shows through, Aaron, and I think that's awesome. So I'm gonna for us, staying top of mind with our database is huge, and it definitely pays off. We do a lot of engagement throughout the year, but making them feel important and showing our value, I think, is truly the key to it all. And it for us, and it does, whether it's in person, like Sean said, on social media, somehow, some way, showing value and making people feel important. I'm going to go back around again, and I'm going to stay with Aaron and say, since we've been in such a crazy market this year, and I've seen a little bit of a softening, but not so much, and still seeing a lot of cash and conventional deals closing. What are we doing to help our FHA, VA, possibly USDA buyers win the bid in an aggressive market? Aaron, I'll start with you.
Well, it's tough. I teach my agents. It's going to be very hard to win over cash. It just is. You could be the nicest seller in the world, and you could have a VA buyer, and you want to help that VA buyer. But if you have someone higher and it's cash and it's cleaner, and you don't have to worry about appraisal and contingencies and inspections and all that, it's tough to compete. But if there were some ways, I mean, you have to create the relationship with the agent, right? And if when we write the offer first, make it as clean as possible, but we like to start to create that relationship on the phone. We have a great brand here in Vegas, so my agents always kind of use our brand. They know that we have a very good qualified buyer. We also like to try to deliver it in person. I know that goes everything against technology and what we're doing today, but man, if you go to that real estate office, if there is one, or if you could find that agent at his house or at the coffee shop, and you deliver that offer in person and have a conversation with the agent and get them to be on your side, with all offers being equal, you're going to have a more likely chance of getting that offer accepted than if you didn't. And don't, get your lender to make the call and talk to the agent as well, or I can give you all the normal stuff like waive an appraisal, buying that is, giving them a lease back, seller, move when you want, free rent, we'll pay your transaction, we'll pay your transfer tax, we'll pay your costs, we'll waive this. Hell, I'll give you my commission. What the hell? Give my client the house. I can give you all that stuff, but I think you got to create the relationship with the agent on the other side and get to know them and get them on your side. I think that's important.
I absolutely agree with that. I have won a number of them this year simply because I've engaged a lot with the agent and really went to bat, directly with that agent for my client. So that's super wonderful. Jennifer, go ahead and share with us what you might be doing for an FHA VA buyer in this aggressive market.
Yeah, I just had an FHA buyer actually that won we're in a multiple offer situation, and we did we did the standard. We waived the contingency on the appraisal and the inspection and just told them we would take care of anything required. So that helped, but honestly, the relationship with the agent was super important. So I think that if they know that you're there to bring both parties together and to be, yes, an advocate for your buyer for sure, but also to help the transaction go super smooth and to be the glue that kind of holds it together. I think they want a partner in it, right? So if I have an agent on the other side who I know is going to be great to work with like that, and will do anything to bring it to close quick, and pretty painlessly, then that's important. So yeah, nothing too different than what Aaron just said, but yeah, I'd reiterate points.
Okay, terrific. Yeah, the human touch, there's nothing like it. Jessica, share with us if there's anything different that you have to add to that one.
I think it's really important for all of us to know what our local banks are offering. We have a local bank here that's doing 0% down, no PMI, conventional loans. We have a credit union that's doing 0%, no PMI, conventional loans. So that's one thing. When I get buyers that are qualified for FHA, we kind of go through the difference of FHA and conventional, and those programs are awesome. So that's really helped. It's also helped on my listing side, because we've been able to share with these agents that are writing offers that maybe they might want to get qualified for a conventional loan. So that would be one tip. I try to meet with a lender a month. So I don't have a favorite lender that sends me deals and things like that. I just meet with a lender a month. So I have a good relationship with several lenders, and I'm always learning what programs are out there so I can match my clients with the right program for them. I did recently do a USDA wrapped with THDA. So THDA is here in Tennessee, and they wrapped those together. So it gave my buyer $7,000 in closing costs. So that was awesome because, it was fantastic. They went in with zero down and had enough money to cover their own closing cost. So I didn't even know that was possible. I just had a lender that I was meeting with, and she said, "Did you know we can do this?" And so that was awesome. Other than that, same things. I always call the agent, build a relationship with the agent. And I always have the lender call. I love the idea of delivering in person, but we have done free lease backs. I mean, the same thing, covering the commissions, all the pass fail inspection, things like that. I've also been writing no cap escalation clauses per buyer approval. So in that case, you write an escalation clause. I usually do it at the asking price, and then whatever my buyer is comfortable with. So you can 1,500 over the best offer with no cap per my buyer's approval. And agents can decline, obviously, to take those. I've never had an agent decline and tell me to send, that they're not going to let me know. So in that case, my buyers always get first right of refusal, which is awesome.
Terrific. Thank you so much for sharing the escalation clause, because a lot of people don't consider using that. And Sean, how about you? Do you have anything to add to that? How you help your FHA, VA, or USDA, or any other types of loans you may have that are less than appealing to a seller?
Yeah, for sure. So we don't have any of those up here in Canada, so we don't have any of those type of loans. But I love all the stuff that everybody is saying. Super, super smart. But we do have people that do like 5% down, which is not as good as cash and things like that here. So the thing that we do, to be honest with you guys, and a lot of people are probably going to like this, but we just put in more work. So when we know we have a buyer that might not be ideal, not even just a buyer that isn't ideal, all buyers, we go door knocking. So every Wednesday, Thursday, we're out as a team, but people can go on their own on top of that. And we go door knocking for our buyers, and we just knock on doors. And it's like, we start with a quick joke, like, hey, how's it going? My name's Sean, I'm a realtor in the area. Don't worry, we're not looking to sell any knives, water machines, or Bibles. But we have a buyer that's desperate to get in the community. We've seen everything on MLS. It's not working. We're just wondering if you want to sell your house today. And you just kind of follow that script, and you'll get a bunch of listings. And sometimes you don't even got a list. You can just double in the deal with your own buyer, which is amazing. And we do it all the time.
That's terrific. A lot of people do shy away from the door knocking, but yes, it does work, as long as somebody is willing to open that door.
Incredible. I honestly recommend everybody do it. One, to get out of their fear and comfort zone. Two, to build the skill of speaking to new people. And three, the way that we have it is you knock on 50 doors, you'll talk to 20 people, you'll do 4 listing presentations, and you should close 1 in 4. So every 200 doors you knock, you should have a listing, and you can knock 200 doors a week, easy. That's 52 deals a year right there.
That's really, really awesome. I like the numbers. So thank you so much for sharing that. All right, let's move on to, and I will start with you, Sean, and work backwards again. If you have hired people, who was your first hire? How did you financially plan to incorporate them? And how did it benefit your business?
So my first hire, I don't listen well, and I wish I listened better. My broker told me to hire a admin first. And I'm like, why would I hire an admin that cost me money? Like, why wouldn't I just hire an agent to help me with the extra deals and stuff like that I was doing, the spill out business? So I hired agent first, and I don't have buyer agents or seller agents on my team. I just have agents that I train to do everything. Because the main goal, in my opinion, for EXP is rev share. So I'd rather train agents to be amazing at everything so that they leave my team and then they're just great agents that are bringing on more great agents. So anyways, long story short, the first agent I hired as part of my team, I brought him on just to cover the overflow of my business, but he wanted the support training and mentorship and everything that I give, but on like a higher scale. So I didn't realize what I was getting myself into. So I quickly had to hire an admin after that. I don't spend money on leads. I have 20 odd agents in the team, and we barely give any leads at all. We just teach them how to generate their own. So financially, it didn't really cost me anything like that, but it cost me a lot of my time and energy, which was deals that I wasn't doing that they needed to, if that makes sense.
Okay, great. That's thanks so much for sharing that. Yes, we can all have our ways of stubbornness and looking back how it has hindered our abilities. So thanks for being transparent like that. Aaron, go ahead and share with us, if what was your first hire? How did you financially plan? And how did it benefit your business?
Well, I did everything wrong when I started too. You know, you have to go through the process and make the mistakes, and I did. But for me now, when I help agents, I think that first of all, if you're going to hire somebody, and you know, there's two ways of doing it. Some agents say they love just hiring real estate agents first, like buyers agents, listed agents, and not have admin people. And then you'll have other people talk to them and say, no, 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 you have to hire some office staff. And so I think that if you do bring somebody on, it should be more of a personal assistant. They have to be able to do everything, not just one thing. They have to be well-rounded. If they're a licensed agent, that's even better. And you're going to make the mistakes. You're going to go through a couple. It just happens. It's going to evolve because you're new at it. They're new at it. But I don't think there's any shortcuts. But you could implement a few things to help you get there faster. Another one to get there faster is hire somebody that likes to do everything that you don't want to do. Like I don't like to do anything in the office at all. I don't like social media. I don't like writing contracts. I don't like being on a computer. I just don't like it. I just want to talk. I want to talk to people. I want to list homes. I want to do seminars. I'm a talkative guy and I'm very active and hyper. And so that's what's fun for me, whether it's right or wrong. At the end of the day, we all have to do what makes us joyful, right? What's fun for me. So I hire everybody that's good at everything else, which is about 99% of everything. I'm not good at much, but what I am good at is I like to talk and have fun. So hire that personal assistant. If they're going to wash a car for you, get your breakfast, play on your Facebook, do your videos, whatever it takes. And then I'm getting better though at learning the things I don't like to do. I'm getting better at it, but I think that's a good way to start is hire somebody, like that.
Terrific. I love it. Wouldn't we all love a personal assistant? And we get so much more done.
I've been trying to find one that will rub my feet and do everything else. And I'm having a hard time with that. I can't find it.
Oh, that's hysterical. All right. So I got Sean and Aaron on that one. Jennifer, share with us who was your first hire, if you have hired, and how did you financially plan to incorporate that person? And how has it benefited your business?
Thanks, Grace. The first hire I had was administrative, and I think that's super important. I think I could echo parts of what Aaron said with hiring what you're not good at. So the paperwork and all of that, sky slope and etc., not my thing. So I'd rather be in front of people all day. So yep, that was my first hire, and right at about the same time, I hired a marketing assistant to handle all the social media aspects and keep it running and have more of a plan in place for touching past clients and all of that. So yeah, I think the same thing. I think you need to know what your strengths and weaknesses are and then hire for your weaknesses. And it's important to choose people that have the same passion for the business and your clients that you do. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jennifer. And Jessica, how about you? It sounds like you've hired people. And who was your first hire? How did you financially plan and how did it benefit your business?
Well, we started selling more homes. So we had the income to, we realized that we were having great income, but our quality of life wasn't great, which that's when we decided to go ahead and hire somebody. So we hired, I guess about 3 months ago, we hired our first assistant, and she was great, but she was terrible at transaction coordinating. So we just went with the EXP transaction coordinator, and we love her. We should have done that immediately as soon as that was available to us. So we have the transaction coordinator doing the transaction piece, and then we have our assistant doing, helping with the social media pieces, the flyers. I mean, this morning we were driving to our lake house, and she was looking up the flood zone on a property. So it's fantastic having her. So it's been life-changing. I strongly recommend you do that as soon as you can. But I would start with a transaction coordinator personally, and then we're getting agents on our team. We've recruited some, but they all work. So we actually have a meeting with another agent from a different brokerage who's also new, but he is hungry. Like he called and asked if he could do some social media videos on our listings and things like that. So we're hoping to bring him to EXP. We have a meeting with him on Thursday, but he's been doing some showings for us and things like that. So we'd just love to have a full-time person, you know, to in our downline really. We don't really have a team structure, but love to partner with him on some things.
That sounds terrific. Thank you so much, Jessica. Yeah, we, the transaction coordinator for us was our first one, and a marketing company second, and now we do have ourselves an assistant. So we're just super, super thankful to be able to provide for other people in this wonderful business we're in. So we have a few more minutes. I would love to take some questions from the audience. I did notice that there were a couple in the chat focused towards Sean. I see that it's broken down, the BRRRR. If you wanted to maybe share that a little bit more in depth on that. And then somebody asked if you add a link to any of those posts. Sean.
For sure. I won't dig too deep into the BRRRR because it'd take me all day. But basically, it's just like a really good investment strategy. So you buy a home, renovate it, buy a home, renovate it, rent it, refinance it, and then redo it. So it's just a way to keep growing your doors. But Google it, YouTube it, there's a million things on there. But that was just an example that I gave of like a high value post that you should be posting about for your audience. And then you always want to have a call to action. Like if you want to learn more about this, if you want to do this yourself, if you've been thinking about investing, like those kind of things, send me a message, send me a DM, and then you'll start getting work with a bunch of investor clients, which is awesome. So that was the one to that one. And then in regards to links, finally, we are allowed to share links, which is amazing because if you don't have 10,000 followers, you never used to have that swipe up option. So yeah, take the time to always include links to what you're trying to get after, if you can, in your stories. You want to make it easy for people. The less barriers they have to have access to you, the better.
Terrific. Thank you so much. Does anybody in the audience want to shout out, turn your mic on and ask a question? We have about 3 minutes left.
I had a question. What's any of you's maybe who have started recently? What's your best advice on things to do to get started, like to get the ball moving?
Okay, thanks for that question. Does anybody want to take that one and go with it?
I have one that I've shared with the state team and I've gotten great feedback on. On your social media, you can post if you want to write this down, tell me what Zillow says your house is worth, and I'll tell you what it's really worth. That has helped several people in our state grab leads. They can PM you. A lot of people just post it there, which I don't recommend, but you can put on there something like, you might want to PM me or whatever. But one of the people on our team, they got like 32 leads from just that one post. So I think that's a good one. And then just you can, depending on your state, advertise another listing with written permission. Again, this depends on your state, so don't just go do this without asking your broker. But if you have KV Core, if you don't have KV Core, I'd go ahead and get your KV Core connected or whatever CRM you're going to use. But KV Core is free, so if you're new, that could be a good solution. But you can boost other people's properties on your KV Core and grab leads that way. My leads haven't been the best, but it's at least something to work with and good practice for you to call those people back. And then also just do some research on objections. So look at the 6 most common objections or the 10 most common objections. So that would be, I'm just looking. Well, if somebody says they're just looking, you need to have a response for that. Well, let's look on the inside, or let's look tomorrow, or whatever. So you find out what those objections are and overcome those and practice overcoming those before you're in those conversations with you calling leads.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jessica. Jessica, which platform are you asking the Zillow question on?
Facebook.
Thank you so much. Okay, well, we're just a minute left. Does anybody have a burning question that they want answered real quick before we go? All righty. Well, I'm going to say thank you to our panel. Thank you so much, everyone. You're always such a breath of fresh air, and your knowledge is just amazing. And I thank each and every one of you for all that you do and bringing such light to all of us here in EXP world. If I don't speak to everybody, happy holidays and Merry